Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura, and I have found a new quilt kit that I'm looking forward to do. The first thing is I absolutely adore the pattern. I think it is adorable. I think it'd be great for a children's room, an adult, a teenager, a cottage. I think it's just a fun, crisp, clean pattern. The directions are also put very well in the book, so they're going to be very easy to follow along with. Along with the kit, there comes some fabric, and the first bundle of fabric is fabric from Riley Blake's. It's a beautiful color selection. They have that outdoor look, but they're not dark. They're nice and fun. And the applique pieces that you see in the pattern are done quite differently. They're actually on a big sheet of Shannon fabrics. Look at the size of that tree. And look at that moose. He is adorable. So we are going to be able to cut out the appliques right from the Shannon fabrics and put them on the quilt. So there's some steps that we're going to be able to do along the way. We're going to be able to make sort of these little blocks, put some applique on them, and then once the quilt is built, we're going to put those really big pieces on that. This quilt is 68 inches by 82 inches. So it's a big quilt with some fun big pieces. I can't wait to get it started. The first thing I do with every project is I take my cotton, I press it well, I cut it according to the directions, and I label it. So all of these are labeled. And this portion of the directions fits this layout. So these are all very big pieces that are going to be sewn together. The white, which is sashing, what they've done is they've color-coded it. So this is the color coding on how the sashing is going to go. I don't have color code pins, so I just gave them letters. So these letters on the white will go to this section. So the charts are going to match together. From here, we're going to be able to work on that beautiful, fluffy Shannon Fabrics fabric. This we do not press, but we're going to be able to take time and just cut all the way around those shapes. That's as simple as it is. We do not have to layer different colors. We don't have to worry about putting eyeballs on. All of the different shading, we don't need to worry about that. The first appliques are these stars, the canoe, and that compass. And it will actually instruct us what block to put those shapes on. So I'm just going to be able to take these blocks, match them up with that applique piece, and I'm going to be able to take them to the machine and stitch them. The Robinson Pattern Company has taken the guesswork and all of the shadowing out for us, and we're going to have this beautiful soft plush applique right on top. We need no seam allowance, no turning the edges. We're just going to cut along that line. This plush fabric will create some lint. So I would recommend just removing the lint with some good old-fashioned tape. Packing tape does work great. And all of the directions are right in that pattern. So I have my cotton piece and I'm going to applique that right down the center. Once it's centered, we can put some pins in. Now I'm going to be able to put some yellow thread on my machine and applique these down. You could use a zigzag stitch or a blanket stitch. Whatever you're comfortable with, we're just going to stitch this down like we would any applique. I did use a blanket stitch all the way around, but I had no problem stitching it all. If you have a walking foot, this is definitely a time to use it. You can see how nice and plush and cuddly this is going to turn out to be. So I'm going to applique these shapes onto those blocks, and then I can start and put them together. Even with this large canoe, I only needed some pins. I didn't need any glue, no adhesive at all. It stayed on the fabric and stitched nice. And once again, I just used a blanket stitch all the way around. This is probably the fastest applique I have ever done. Once all of my pieces are appliqued on, I'm going to be able to put them together, and I'm going to be able to follow that chart. I have A, B, D, and E. My A and my D are already appliqued, so it is important that we label our pieces and leave those labels on. From there it tells us to add our sashing strips, and they're color-coded. So it's telling us the size plus the color coding, which matches these. As I go through, there'll be sections that I'm going to be able to add some of the larger pieces or the pieces that are overlapping. But for those really big characters, I get to leave them to last. Following step by step, we will end up with this one big piece, and that is half of the quilt already stitched together. From here, we're going to be able to go along, sew more units together, and then add those applique shapes. And we'll know where to put those on by the front diagram. You can see some of them are going to go over top of the sashing. This unit's done, I get to add on another. Same thing, I'm stitching over this sashing. These were long paddles, and I've had no problem stitching over them at all. Once I have those two main units done, I'm going to be able to add this piece in, and it's going to be one big quilt. Then I get to add those really fun big characters. This quilt really turned out cute, and it's quite big. But then we did start with that nice big panel that we were able to cut out these large applique shapes. And it was only one piece for that tree that we needed to cut out, one for the moose, one for everything. So we didn't have to do extra layers. And I didn't need any glue at all to put those applique pieces down. Some pins and my walking foot, and it went together quite easily. I think this would be a great project for someone who is starting out or someone who just every once in a while just wants to do something big, bold, and fun. Now you can get the kit like I did for this, or you can just get the panel and that pattern and choose your own background fabric. And they do have some other ones to check out. I'll put a link in the description to the Wildwood pattern from Robinson Company. And as always, thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I do have a newsletter, and it's all free under Sew Very Easy. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.